Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's pre-match press conference ahead of the fourth Betway One-Day International between South Africa and Australia here at Supersport Park in Centurion. Joining us today from the team is Keshav Maharaj. As per all our other press conferences, it is hybrid, so we will look to take some questions from the floor first before we give an opportunity to those who have joined online. And I see Stu's hand is raised first, so you kick us off.
Hi, Kesh. You've had a few games now, post your rehab and whatnot. I was wondering how you found playing and moving around in the field, bowling, and in the recovery, going from match to match with you.
Yeah, I think fortunately enough, I am back on the field again after some time. But yeah, it's just about the process, taking each day at a time. Obviously, there's some room for improvement here, there, and everywhere, but it's building up towards something. The recovery is going pretty well as can be after each and every game. The main thing is that I can execute my skills, and that's a pleasing sign for me. But I think the medical staff have been phenomenal around that for me.
It seems like you look back over a couple of seasons when you guys played Australia, you've done well when two spinners have played. Is that something that the team is cognizant of and something they want to go forward with?
Yeah, I think it has been done in the past where two spinners have played, and we've done really well as a unit. But I think it's just based on conditions and what we faced with. Obviously, the last wicket presented some turn, and we utilized that with a spin. But we'll have to assess conditions in the day and try and see if we can combat with the double spin going forward.
Ken?
Thanks, Susie. How's it, Keshav? Congrats on your return and very well bowled the other night. Just following up on Zahir's question, Supersport Park has been quite a tough place for spinners in the past. First of all, do you think that's fair to say? And have you guys managed to have a look at conditions? Does it look like a typical Supersport Park wicket, or is it again going to be a bit more of a subcontinental touch to it?
Yeah, I think in general the traditional Supersport wicket doesn't really assist spinners too much. I haven't looked at the wicket as yet, but I know the coach and them are busy with that right now. We haven't actually named our team as yet, so we'll only know later today. But yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully, we can expose the double spin. But like I said, it's conditions based on how the wicket's read.
Great. Myron?
Yes, there's a couple of games to go before this team goes to the World Cup, and there's a couple of warm-up games as well. 2-1 down in the series. How do you strike a balance between trying to go and chase a comeback and win the series versus ticking obvious boxes from a preparation point of view that Rob has been quite open about?
Yeah, I think the communication from Rob's been very good with regards to sort of player rotation, if you want to call it. But I also think it gives us an opportunity to try various combinations within the series, building up towards the World Cup. And that's not making excuses for performance. Obviously, we haven't been at our best in the first two games, but we rectified that in the last game. So it's about building momentum, because we could be posed with various situations in the World Cup where conditions change and we have to adapt the team. And obviously, we've got an amazing squad with a lot of variety. And, whoever gets the call up on the day, I'm sure they'll stand up and take the team over the line.
Thanks. We're going to go Stu, then Zahir.
I saw the bowling group have a big circle chat out there. The seam bowlers in particular have been under pressure in this series. What has been the messaging internally about why they're not performing up to the standards that they need to have for themselves?
Yeah, look, I think the meeting you saw wasn't a crisis meeting. It's just our bowlers meeting that we have as a check-in. Yeah, look, I think we've acknowledged where we can be better as a unit, not just the seamers in general. But yeah, it's just about the lines and executions. I think if we're being honest, we haven't been the best with regards to execution. So, we're building up. It got better in the last game. I know probably 100 after 11 overs doesn't really tell that. But if you look at the groupings overall from an analysis point of view, it is getting better. So hopefully it's building up towards bigger and better things and, peaking at the right time come to the World Cup.
Yes, we know how much you enjoy batting, but in this team, it seems like it's going to be an important factor, 7, 8, 9. How much work are you personally and the rest of the lower order doing on there to do a job?
Yeah, look, I think even before the series, we had a series of camps building up towards that, and a lot of emphasis has been placed on the lower order batting unit. I think JP's been phenomenal, and Wandile, in terms of throwing for lengthy hours to the lower order. And we're sort of seeing the dividends pay off. We've seen Plunk, Marco, for you, for guys that don't know. We've seen, bits and pieces of the hard work coming together. And, like I said, hopefully everyone peaks at the right time. And yeah, I think the lower order, we have contributed in the past, and it's about sort of building on those contributions, because we do play a large role in the team when the batting part does come for us to stand up.
Great. We'll look to take one from Ken and then those online.
Keshav, were you surprised? I mean, you seem to be quite close to your best again in the previous game in Poch. Were you surprised how quickly that you got to that level of bowling already?
It's hard to say. I think if you look at 4 months, I was still in a moon boot and finding my way to walk about. But yeah, I think I've put in the hard work behind closed doors in terms of my skill. Yeah, look, I'm just trying to bowl my best ball at all times, and fortunately enough, with a bit of assistance from the wicket, it probably highlighted that even more. But I think the real test will be coming on playing on wickets that don't really offer too much assistance. Then I'll be able to see if I'm close to my best or not.
Thanks, Ken. Online, Morgan, then Keenan.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Kesh. Kesh, you mentioned progress earlier. Where do you feel that the team has progressed the most? Because we've got to keep into consideration that it is a new coaching staff that's been in since the beginning of the year. You guys snuck into the World Cup. You're busy playing against the joint top-ranked team. So where do you feel that the Proteas have, shown the best over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think, look, performances probably hasn't highlighted the fact that we are progressing as a group. Obviously, with the new philosophies and stuff, it's about trusting in the process. And if I remember, one of the teams in the prior World Cups lost about 12 on the row, and they ended up winning a World Cup. Not to say that we'll take that situation for granted, but I think it's about believing in the process. And if we take care of our basics and our processes, then performance will take care of itself. So I think from a growth, we've shown the depth in our squads. We've showed that we can be versatile in various conditions, and we can play under pressure, because World Cup qualification was looming at one stage, and we managed to pull through in a difficult three series, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we're showing signs of growth. Obviously, we want to keep building, and performance is a defining criteria. So hopefully, we'll see the rewards of that going forward.
Thanks, Keenan.
Thanks, Lucy. Kesh, could you speak about the importance of spin bowling in the subcontinent with the World Cup being in India, and also the importance of you and Tabriz heating your straps over there?
Yeah, obviously, we know India is a subcontinent conditions, and it's known for spin bowling. But it's just about believing in the process, doing the hard work, and making sure that we're executing and bowling our best ball. Whatever happens after, that's beyond our control. So it's about just making sure that we're topping up on our skill work and trying to get better each and every day.
Thanks. We're going to go Nathan, then Fidos, and then look to wrap with Mark.
Thank you, Lucy. Kashi, how's the mood been in camp at the moment after Tuesday's win, especially after the tough losing streak with Australia?
Yeah, there's been a lot of excitement. I think it showed in the change room afterwards, guys connecting in a different sort of format where, 5 losses back-to-back was tough, but to see the smiles on guys' faces, I don't think they'll take that for granted. And, now that we got a taste, hopefully we can run with that momentum into the next 2 games and, play our best cricket building up towards that World Cup.
Thanks. Fidos?
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Kesh. Kesh, how much of a motivating factor was knowing that you've got this World Cup at the end of the year to, really, you're obviously a diligent guy, you stick to your rehab and that sort of stuff, but was that kind of what your aim was, or was there some other goal you had in mind?
Yeah, I think, at the start of my journey, when after surgery and things like that, World Cup was a big thing for me. Having played in 2 T20 World Cups, I think 50 overs is very hard on the body. And that's something that I wanted to experience. I always like challenges for myself, and, plotted the way, but still at 3 months and 4 months, I probably wouldn't have said I would have gotten here. But, with my medical team around me, we plotted a journey. And they just gave me the best chance, which I'm very grateful for. And, you know, like I said, after 4 months, I sat down with them. And seeing that I was very close to World Cup, it meant everything to want to play. And also, if you look at my forefathers, they are from India, so I do want to go back there and, you know, try to do something special for my country. So that was the motivation that I needed. And also, I think as a professional cricketer, you want to be a role model. So any guys with injuries out there, long-term injuries, you know, there is hope at the end of the tunnel.
Thanks, Firdous. Mark?
Sorry, Lucy, can I just do a quick follow-up? Sorry, I'll be super quick.
Sure, no worries.
Keshav, you spoke about this thing about wanting to be a role model, and obviously Sia and Kane Williamson have also come back from injuries quicker than expected. I mean, did you have any communication with them, or did you look at what they were doing?
No, I just used to obviously read in the paper and stuff, but I think I just put my head down and did what I feel was right. I sacrificed a hell of a lot during that time from a diet point of view, from a rehab point of view, from a recovery point of view, making sure I'm getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. I was quite diligent. I put the family under pressure because in terms of diet, I only used to eat certain things, so I had to make sure I ate on time and things like that. So yeah, it's just about putting my head down and giving myself a chance. Look, I might not have got there, I might have got there, but at the end of the day, it's about giving yourself a chance to get back to a place where you feel you belong.
Thanks, Firdous. Mark?
Thank you. Just to follow up on Firdous' couple of questions, when did you realize that you had a chance to get into the World Cup squad? Was there a specific day or moment that you can remember looking back now that you thought, okay, I didn't give myself much of a chance when I came out of surgery, but now I've got a decent effort?
Yeah, I think, look, after I came out of surgery, I said to myself, I'm going to give myself every chance. But I think, you know, when you see how slow the initial phases of rehab is, you have that sort of negative thought here and there. But I think at 4 months, when I started to walk in a moon boot, look, I pushed myself beyond certain levels that I don't think most people would have been able to do. But, you know, fortunately enough, I did the right things prior to that. Like I said, I had a great medical staff with me, making sure I'm getting the right rehab and recovery work going. And then at 5 months, I started to believe once I started to run again, yeah, I'll always have a limp for some time. It's just teaching yourself how to do certain things again because you've been sort of dormant with the leg for a period of time. But I think at 5 months, I realized the dream is really a reality now, and you know we can push to further things. And once I started bowling within that period, you know the belief never left me. I always knew I was going to get back on the field. It was only a matter of time.
Great, thanks, Mark. That concludes today's press conference. Thank you very much to those who have joined in the room and those online, and of course, Kesh. And just a reminder for Australia's at 1:45.